So if you were reading along with me this week, you'll also know that I was reading Life in Bits, which is a collaboration novel between T.B. Markinson and Harper Bliss. This is the second collab novel I have read this year, which Harper Bliss has been on. And I really did enjoy it. If you want to check out my Goodreads review, if you're on Facebook, it's below all the other videos, or if you're on YouTube, there is a link in the description below, and this is a video review. So Life in Bits by T.B. Markinson and Harper Bliss, what a combination. Their two writing styles just fitted together perfectly to create a wonderful story, an absolutely wonderful story. This was the second book I read this week which had an age gap in it, and I love age gap romances. They are one of my ultimate favourites, and they just really work for me. And the best thing about this book is it just spoke to me on so many levels. The dynamic between Eileen and Naomi, who are the two main characters, I could totally relate to. Like, everything they were going through was relatable to such a high level with me. Especially for Naomi, because she's fallen for Eileen. Eileen's a bit older than her, and Eileen's very unsure. Going back to, if you've watched the video review for Mistletoe Kisses, which I also read this week, you've still got that. It's the older one holding back, worried about how they're perceived, and the other one being too young, and whether they're staying or whatever. So again, like, Eileen, she's returned home for the festive season because she's had a stroke, which was quite a sensitive issue to be brought up in this sort of getting it right with the character. And again, TB and Harper have done a great job of taking that sensitive subject and exploring it and doing it justice, as to not forgetting about it halfway through the book. So sometimes characters have these medical issues and it gets forgotten somewhere along the lines of the plot because they go and do something that they perhaps wouldn't be able to. But the greatest thing about this is they keep it steady and constant in the book, and it's there, and there's reminders of it to help you remember really and ground you as to why Eileen is back and why she finds herself in the situation she does. And it just was really well put together, quite emotional in terms of her family and how they're all dealing with it as well, but for the relationship that she's holding back a little bit with Naomi, because there's a lot of family tension and history between the two families, Naomi's family and Eileen's family as well, and so that's all built on as well as like a subplot, and it really sort of brings the story to life and gives you something more as a reader to really dig your teeth into and explore. So I just really loved this book. I mean, I can't really explain it, but just so relatable. The circumstances and the situation that Eileen and Naomi found themselves in is something very similar that I've experienced and I'm experiencing, and it was really interesting to read another perspective on something similar. The characters' feelings and get a perception for just how realistic these feelings can be, and just how they happen in real life as well. Especially Naomi's point of view really spoke to me, really spoke to me. Eileen's got me thinking about someone else's point of view in my own life, but Naomi's, yeah, was really me. I could relate. I saw a lot of my own feelings in Naomi's, and her thoughts and her processes and her feelings. And so for me, that's the greatest connection you can get with a character, when you really connect with them on a personal level. And so it was so brilliantly precious in this book, just to find that and feel that. It was almost like fate that I read this book when I did and got the messages that I did from it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I can't recommend it enough. Brilliant, fantastic authors doing a fantastic collaboration, and if you haven't read it yet, you're missing out. So you definitely want to grab yourself a copy. So that you can grab yourself a copy, I will pop a link in the description, because you won't want to miss it. It's the perfect time to read it. It's festive season, it's a festive story, so make sure you grab yourself a copy whilst it's available as soon as possible, because it's a brilliant read. For those of you that have read Life in Bits, let me know. Let me know what you thought of it, and whether you enjoyed it, and whether you related to the characters, how you felt about their story and circumstances. That would be amazing. Or if you're going to read it, if it's on your to read list, again, I would really like to know whether you're interested in reading it, why you're interested in reading it, and just when you're going to read it, basically. And if you do read it, I really hope you enjoy it as much as I did. I can't recommend it enough. It was an absolutely brilliant book. Bye.